Okay, so in case you can't tell, I have sanded this cross grain, and then I cut my caps here, or my I don't know, braces here in between the web splits, and I've cut them cross grain to this, and then I've sanded them. So I've got both pieces sanded. And incidentally, if I didn't mention it, oh, I got my church shirt on. My wife always yells at me, come home from church and start working without changing my clothes. Oh well. Incidentally, if I didn't mention it before, I added 1.5 pounds to the entire airplane by using 1/8" web on my rear spar. So because it's supposed to be the 1/16, so I doubled it. I weighed everything I cut. Now, then again, I will be cutting some of that off, so there's about 1.5 feet extra twice. It's about 1.5 pounds for the whole aircraft. And that don't sound like much, except how many times do you do that? 1.5 pounds, or 8 ounces, or 4 ounces. You can only do that so many times, and then you're adding up to 10 pounds. And now with an ultralight, 10 pounds makes a difference. And of course I already dry fitted this, and I marked it, so if I see any pencil on either side, that's too much. As far as clamping, I'm just going to drop this weight, which has the center screw screwed down directly even with it, so should have fairly even weight all the way across it. I could add a little bit of weight to it. There you go. You got to be creative. Now, unlike the main spars, this here is easy to get to and go ahead and build up while it's still drying in the from the putting the cap on it. So I'm going to clean this up in here and go ahead. This here's the root, so I'm going to go ahead and strengthen up the root, which is just 2 pieces shaped pretty much like the main spars of build up in here, except it goes about 3 3/4 inches to the center of the V there, the radius right there, and it goes out to 6 inches, whereas the main spar goes out 9 inches, and this here is about 4.5 inches back to that center part. Now, none of my scrap pieces are 6 inches long, but the extra extending over the end of the web caps, I only need 7 inches. See, that's 7 inches at an angle, which means linearly it's going to be a little less than that. So if I get 7 inches, cut 7 inches off the end of it, I can use that for building up the root. So that gives me quite a bit right there. So my grain direction on this web is back and forth this way. So my next layer, I've got this piece here. Its grain is going this way. I know I need, between the webs is 2 inches 488, so I'll just use a mortise gauge here and mark that real quick. And then I can cut that. Oh, can you see it at all? Yeah, there you go. Anyways, cut that 2 inches 488, and then this here one, of course, that I cut off the end of the spar, I'll go ahead and mark it, and I only need 2 pieces. Incidentally, 2 pieces. That's only a 1/4 inch buildup. This is 1/8 inch, so we're good to go here. So I hand sanded it until it's snug in here, and then I'm gonna just leave it overhang here so that I'm 6 inches back here. I'll cut that off later. I'll go ahead and mark it with the pencil right now whereabouts it is. Going across the grain, and of course this grain here, well, this grain's going the same direction, so this is the top one. Yeah, the other one's going to be, this one will be the bottom one. Yep, and this one will go over top of it. This grain's going back and forth this way again. So now I just got to cut the relief back to this hole from 1/4 inch in on each piece. So we got the root build up. Oh, see the V right there? And this block here is holding it down, the weight on the far end of it. That's what's, and then this here smaller block here is clamped there, and then this here clamp can reach across and catch it over here. That's good enough. And I've got both pieces on there, so that's a 1/4 inch build up, which is what it's required. So now we're gonna choose the top and bottom of this here spar, and we got to build up for this. And once again, it's 96.5 inches to the tangent point. It's also 1 inch down, so everything there is pretty much the same. It'll be the same 26-degree angle. So the previous side that we glued up is the one that's overlapped slightly, and is going to be the top one. So we've actually already chosen the top by doing that. We just got to make sure we get the angle correct coming towards the root, and this is the top, this is the bottom, 26 degrees. And then we just build it up so it's even right here with the caps. Okay, let's say you got a cheap Pittsburgh square, and you hold it here and it does one thing, and you hold it here and it does another thing. So which one's square? Well, hold it here in close to the stem, and well, let's get it on the mark here first. We're going to try to get it the same distance from that mark, both sides. Get a sharp line there, and we'll flip it over here and push it in on the same place, of course. And I would say that's pretty square there. If you go, see now, if you did it holding it out here, you can still find your center. But the way you'd find your center is by flipping it and marking it on both sides. I don't know, it seems to tilt a lot more when I put it on this side. So it's not even square to itself. So, all right, we'll ignore that. But that's how you find the center with a halfway decent square, but that might be off a little bit. You just make your mark across it, make your mark across, and then split the difference, and that'll be the center. So this here's the good mark right here. All right. Now to figure out how much to build it up, if you go to section AA, and when you're looking at these prints, just take your fingers like this, that's AA, and then take and just move your hand like this up to where you find AA, and that is how you're looking at it right there. And that there is 5/8 of an inch, or no, it's 687, which is 11/16. But the pipe, all of my tubing for the rear spar is 3/4 inch. Maybe 5/8 was used in some of them, I don't know. I'm going to go out to the hangar though and double check. But so you're supposed to build this thing up beyond the top of this. Well, it'd be 1/4 of an inch, except I've reduced the size slightly, so I'll have to get some commercial white ash, which I'd want to do anyways, to put on top of it. That's a very specific width to get it about 3/4 of an inch. Or, I mean, I'll do the 687 maybe. I'm going to go out and measure what I've got on my koala out at the hangar first, though. And as far as the 50-inch mark for the jury struts, this here one is just like the caps over the splices. You go all the way across from here all the way up. And where's that at? Right there shows that. So, and it says 2/4 inch ply, but you bring it up even. You just bring it up even with the rib caps. Now right here at the 50-inch mark for the jury strut attachment point buildup, I'll relay those marks because you can't see them too good. Anyways, I started putting glue down, and I hadn't scuffed this up. I didn't say, oh well, I already got some glue on it. No, I wiped that glue up, cleaned it off. Now I'm scritching it up. And while this probably would not matter, it would be okay because it's just a compressive, it's just to build up so you can clamp this bracket on it. So that wouldn't be no big deal. But if you get in the habit of saying, oh well, that's good enough, I already got glue on it, you might do it somewhere else where it does matter. So get in the habit of, hey, if I make the slightest mistake or something doesn't turn out, take it back apart or just start over. It's not a big deal. The bigger deal would be 1,500 feet in the air and have something go wrong. That wouldn't happen on this particular thing. But it could create the habit that it does happen somewhere where it does matter. So always do it right. And we're done for tonight because I really got to go out to the hangar and find out how high I have to build this up, how thick.